Yeah! All right, so my name is Michael DeLue. Today is episode 116 of Pull Up the Tape. Today is also January 30th, 2023. And with that being said, I'm ready to politic. I'm ready to get at it. Let's go! Let's go! All right, so I don't know about y'all, but I had an amazing weekend. Amazing weekend for so many different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is because, this is one of the weekends I look forward to every single year, Championship Sunday. And that occurred yesterday as we found out who the final participants, these two teams punched their bid to compete in the Super Bowl that's going to take place in Phoenix, Arizona in 2 weeks' time. And I'm just really, really excited about Championship Sunday, but I don't know, the theme all weekend seemed to be like terrible officiating because I seen it in I watched 3 games this weekend. I watched the Laker game. I watched the Lakers play the Celtics on Saturday, and then I watched the Eagles play, and I watched the Chiefs play. And the officiating in both games was fucking terrible. Like the last thing I ever want is games to be decided by bad. And then I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, and I remember when my team was playing in this exact stage 5 seasons ago against the New England Patriots with the Super Bowl on the line. We were holed by a call. Miles Jack recovered a fumble, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he ran it back for a touchdown, or if I'm not mistaken. They called the play down, even though he was not down. And it should have been never called. It should have been never. But the thing is, bad officiating happens, but as a fan, you just never wanted to actually decide a game. And in both games, I feel like it. I mean, not that the 49ers would have won the game, but like bad officiating happens. But as a fan, you just want it to be fair, and you don't want it to decide a game. And I feel like in a lot of these situations, they did. The Eagles beat the 49ers 31-7. But I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't even say beat. They beat the shit out of them. They stomped them niggas out. But I'm gonna be honest, I was not surprised even in the slightest, because first of all, I seen all week Niner fans fucked up. They went to the Rocky statue. And the last people to do that were the Minnesota Vikings 5 years ago. And it was kind of like a similar outcome. It was 38-7. This game was 31-7. The Niners stood no chance. And even like, obviously the Niners obviously suffered some injuries every single quarterback on their roster that was active on their roster this year was injured. Trey Lance got hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. Brock Purdy got hurt. Josh Johnson got hurt. But even before that, I want to say this, because there was a play that there are 2 head scratchers that stood out to me in the first half. First of all, the Devontae Smith 4th and 3. This is what I mean by bad officiating. That was not a catch. On 4th and 3, Devontae Smith goes up and makes an incredible catch. Incredible catch. And I was just like, wow, that's on 4th and 3. Like, I ain't never made no catch like that in my life. I've never, but I mean, that's why he's an NFL receiver and I'm not. He gets up and he immediately starts going, hurry up, snap the ball. Because he himself knew he didn't catch that ball. So the drive continues and they end up scoring a touchdown on that drive. That 4th and 3 play, that's the difference between a turnover on downs and 7 points. Big junction of the game. It's crazy considering how early in the game it was. People didn't realize that actually ended up being a very, very crucial play, because when the 49ers get the ball for the first time, they're down 7 instead of being tied at 0. And then on San Fran's very first long developing play, the 49ers offense coordinator I don't know who makes this call, decides to block Hassan Reddick. For those of you guys who don't know, the Eagles led the league in sacks this year. and it wasn't even close. The Eagles in the regular season had 70 sacks. The next closest team had 55. My team had 35. They doubled our sack total. They decided to block the person responsible for the second most sacks in the regular season this year, Hassan Reddick. Number 1 was Nick Bosa. Number 2 was Hassan Reddick. They decided to block Hassan Reddick with a tight end. He gets to the quarterback and blows shit up. Not only does he blow the play up and cause a fumble, he actually in the process blows Brock Purdy's arm up. And that's damn near. I'm not going to lie. Once Brock Purdy was out, I'm like, this game is, first of all, it was going to be an evenly contested match until Brock Purdy gets hurt. And then once I seen that, I'm like, yeah, this is not ideal. There's no way for the 49ers to win moving forward. Let me get into some of the things that I noticed about the game. Even though the Eagles did win, I wasn't particularly too impressed with Jalen Hurts' performance, especially considering you could honestly tell that Jalen Hurts is still hobbled by this injury because Jalen missed on some throws. He was 15 for 25, but he looked off. He underthrew some passes. He overthrew some passes. A.J. Brown had burnt Travarius Ward badly, and he just overthrew him in the first quarter. And he didn't really scramble too much in terms of when the play was breaking down, which I felt like there were opportunities for him to do. He definitely could have abused the Niners defense on the with his legs. But nevertheless, it is what it is. There's only so much that the Niners without the Niners putting up points, there's only so much that they can it's not like their defense. It's not like the defense is going to go out there and score points. Like the Niners were damn near handicapped. And then before I even get to the Niners, I want to say this because I talked about this with a lot of my friends this week. The Eagles on the line of scrimmage are just a cheat code in both trenches. The offensive line is a cheat code. I said it, man. I think the Eagles have more than enough to neutralize the 49ers defense. 49ers defensive line specifically. Lane Johnson held Nick Bosa in check. And the 49ers defense was not able to really get much pressure on Jalen Hurts for most of the game. And obviously any team that wins a Super Bowl is built solid in the trenches on the offensive line or on the defense. And then the Niners offensive line couldn't keep. Philly looked like crazed dogs. Philly dominated on both lines of scrimmage, and that's why they won the game, honestly. And that's what they do. They've done this to every single team they've played, and every single team they beat, they wore them out. The Eagles set for NFL history. They have 39 rushing touchdowns this season. And there's still one more game to play. They have 39 rushing touchdowns this season. That is the most we've seen in the league's history. Why? Their offensive line is a cheat code. Jalen Hurts is going to look first of all, any competent quarterback is going to look incredible behind this. The Eagles' offensive line is comparable to that of the Cowboys' offensive line from Zeke's rookie season, man. Eagles' offensive line has dogs at every position, man. Every position. With that offensive line, their defensive line, I can't definitively say they're going to lose any game or be blown out or won't even be able to compete at a high level. I actually have the Eagles beating the Chiefs, honestly. The Eagles, because unlike any team that Patrick Mahomes has played this postseason, the Eagles can get to him and harass him and disrupt everything. But I'm going to say that for a later day. Let me talk about the Niners really quick. The Niners have nothing to be ashamed of. Absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Their season went way better than I ever thought it was going to go, especially considering the injuries at the most. Obviously quarterback is the most important position in the league. And every single quarterback that they had on their roster, they finished off the season with no quarterback, essentially. Trey Lance, hurt in week 3. Jimmy Garoppolo. I fucked that up. Jimmy Garoppolo, hurt in week 10, if I'm not mistaken. Brock Purdy hurt in the NFC Championship game. The team and the roster so solidly and amazingly built that they were able to compensate for losing they lost 2 quarterbacks and were down to a third quarterback, which was a rookie 7th round pick. Not any 7th round pick. The last pick of the draft was their 3rd string quarterback, and they were in the NFC Championship. Like that's unheard of. That's unprecedented. That will never happen again. I promise you. Like even at losing, bro, once you're down to your backup quarterback, typically that's when it's just like, okay, the wheels fall off. I mean, the last person I seen make it that far was the Vikings with no. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, but that was the backup quarterback, not the 3rd string quarterback. Who knows what the fuck that would have looked like. But Brock Purdy went down early in the game. Josh Johnson goes down, concussion. Purdy comes back but can barely throw. And, you know, who I genuinely feel bad for is the fans. You know, I mean, the fans who were robbed of a good game. And I want to give credit to the Niners defense, because the Niners defense tried to make it as competitive as possible and tried to, you know, there were some possessions where, you know, they had stopped the Eagles and whatever the case may be. But I mean, in the long run, you can't eventually they're gonna wear on you. And then on top of that, even though the Niners overcame everything they overcame, man, on the Eagles possession where they made it 14-7. A lot of suspect calls. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the illegal, like defensive holds. Some of the calls that they made. I mean, and again, it goes back to officiating I was talking about. In yesterday's game, the Niners had 7 penalties that gave the Eagles the first down. That's the most in the championship game history. Tied for the most. And I'm just like, man, this is like you just hate. Like, I wish the game would have been called cleaner and better and more efficient for both sides. Not that the Niners would have won, but, you know, at the end of the day, I want to see competitive football. Like, I didn't want to – I wish both games would have been like what we saw in KC, closer, even though there was fucking horrible officiating in that one. But credit to the Eagles for, regardless, going out there and handling business, man. At the end of the day, you got to play who's in front of you and beat them. No matter if they're hurt, if they're hobbled, whatever the case may be, and that's exactly what they did. I want to credit the Niners for having such an incredible season. I truly don't fuck with the 49ers. I mean, in my heart of hearts, they're not the team I hate the most. I don't fuck with the Cowboys. I don't fuck with the Steelers. But I mean, they had a great season, and they have nothing. And it sucks for them because, you know, they obviously are going to wonder, like, man, if we had Brock Purdy. But I mean, I personally don't think they would have won. But I mean, obviously. I mean, there's just a big if on that in that whole situation, and it just, first of all, they had an unprecedented season. We've never seen anything like it to even get this far with the little that they had at the quarterback spot. And yeah, credit to them honestly, because they played their hearts out, and I can't really. There's really nothing for them to, you know, except just they're just gonna feel like what if, rightfully so. On the AFC side of things, the Chiefs beat the Bengals 23-20. Once again, horrible officiating at its finest. I want to actually give credit to Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and one of the most brilliant things about this is a lot of his Mecole Hardman went down, Juju Smith went down, Kadarius Toney went down, and all week we talked about Patrick Mahomes. You know, being hobbled, and, you know, KC actually was the underdog in this. It was like -2.5, if I'm not mistaken, and rightfully so because of Patrick Mahomes' ankle and whatever the case may be. But there's something to be said about Patrick Mahomes, man. That dude, Patrick Mahomes is a nigga. Patrick Mahomes is a nigga. He's where I'm from, calling somebody a nigga means he's like that. Patrick Mahomes is like that. He's him. He's Himothy. Like, he's just one of a kind. And like, it's no secret. Patrick Mahomes this is not even a hot topic. This is not even a hot topic for you to say a 27-year-old quarterback, that Patrick Mahomes being a 27-year-old quarterback in his 6th year in the NFL, 5th year as a starter, is the greatest quarterback I have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He's better than Peyton Manning. He's better than Tom Brady. He's better than Aaron Rodgers, better than John Elway, better than Dan Marino, better than Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes is simply that nigga. He's him, simply put. And then this performance yesterday just proved, man, this guy has big ass balls, no homo, man. He gets the job done. He gets the job done. And then all week, I'm not even gonna lie, I actually took Burrow. And I honestly think if not for my Nigerian brother Joseph Asai committing that fucking horrible penalty, I think the Bengals still end up winning that game. But it isn't what I think or it's what actually happened. And on both, even though like they said all week his ankle, he's going to be hampered, all these different things. On both of his touchdown passes, the first one to Travis Kelce, he steps up in the pocket, Travis Kelce. On his second touchdown to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he rolls out, steps up, and hits him on the run. Touchdown. Patrick Mahomes was big. He was reliable. He came through for the Chiefs, man. This is why they pay him what they pay him. This is why he's the best quarterback I've ever seen with my own two eyes. And he deserves it. He's going to win his second MVP this season. He's going to his third Super Bowl in 5 years. It should have been his fourth because, I mean, the first one. But, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, honestly. Patrick Mahomes, he's that guy. I want to give a shout out to KC's defense. I on this bitch, I don't really like this talk. Like when it comes to certain at a specific point of the season, I don't like talking numbers or anything like that. Like I want to like speak facts and talk the eye test. This might be the best defense KC's had since Patrick Mahomes has been in KC. They stood up. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. When the Bengals have stopped KC and then they're giving Joe Burrow back the ball with like 2 minutes left, like 2 and some change, I thought this game is over. They're gonna drive down the field, get a game-winning field goal, and they're going to the Super Bowl against the Eagles. But KC's defense had otherwise, man. And specifically, Chris fucking Jones, man. It seemed like he was just in the backfield every single play. Like they had no answer for him. He had two big sacks this in the game, especially after missing the 2 sacks. Especially after missing on Joe Burrow last year that caused him to lose. But he said, like, this is the matchup he wanted. He wanted to play against the Bengals, and he wanted to terrorize Joe Burrow, and that's exactly what he did. Even though, in my opinion, he got away with a couple of hands to the face penalties or whatever the case may be. But that's what I mean by the officiating is fucking terrible and it's inconsistent. But he showed up. Frank Clark showed up. The KCDB showed up. They in crunch time because, I mean, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase were having their way with them. But what can you say? I mean, the Bengals fought hard. They came out. They were down most of the game, and they kind of had to play catch up. But they fought hard. Their defense is. I'm not sure if the Bengals are going to be in this exact same position next year. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't really bank on it because I just don't see it happening. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I think. Missed opportunities and mental errors. Joseph Asai. You have to understand situational football, man. 3rd and 5 with 8 seconds left. Mahomes is running out of bounds. And they're not even in range for a field goal. And he shoves Patrick Mahomes as he's already out of bounds. And when I seen that, I said, that's ball game. That is the ball fucking game. Once I seen him shove him and the yellow flag flew out, I said, wow. That's it, man. It's it. That's the Bengals season right then and there. Because you can't make mental errors like that. You just can't make mental errors like that. You cannot make mental errors like that. Because if KC doesn't get a single yard, from that point forward, it's at least a 60-yard field goal for Harrison Buckner. At least as opposed to a 45. And he nailed that bitch. And then you just have to understand, like, even if they get a completion on their next play, unless it's immediately out route or something that is outwarding breaking towards and that they're able to get out. There's not enough time for it to be a completion and then for them to be able to get to the line and clock it and then get a field goal. Like, it's just not happening. It's just, you just have to understand situational. Oh man, and that's all she wrote. Honestly, it came down like, you know, at a specific point in the season, every team is good, every team is tough. Every team is very talented, and it comes down to who makes the least mental errors. Honestly, who makes the least mental errors? It's just like I don't know, man. I don't know. Very disappointing, very frustrating. Because the Bengals had the game right there. I mean, and even if it, like, who knows what happens in overtime? I'm not gonna, but just the fact that the Bengals lost the way they did right then and there, very, very disappointing for them. But I'm really, really looking forward to the Super Bowl. And that's in 2 weeks' time, so can't wait. Very, very excited. My name is Michael DeLu, and that's going to conclude episode 116 of Pull Up the Tape. With that being said, long live Kobe, long live Gigi, long live my brother, long live Neighborhood Nip, long live Pop Smoke, woo, long live Mac Miller, long live Boy, long live Takeoff, free Chef G, free Pooh Shiesty. I'm out this bitch.